Welcome.
Hello everyone. So we're going to be getting all of our take-home activity videos out now. Sorry for not getting them out sooner, but hopefully you enjoyed our events, and if you haven't gone to do your take-home activities yet, you can follow along with us. Also, introducing one of our new members of staff, Huda.
Hey everyone, I'm Huda. Good to meet y'all.
Hello everyone. Welcome back after the summer break. We are starting up again with our in-person educational events here at the Science Education Center every first Saturday of the month, as usual. And today we will be doing our soil science take-home activity, and that is a soil texture jar. Alright, so for this activity you are going to need a jar, you are going to need some soil, and you're going to need a marker, and you're probably going to need some tape for the marking as well, as I found, and you're going to need some water. First step, you are going to want to fill your jar about halfway with soil. Yeah, about that. Pick out any twigs, stems, roots if you can, but it's not like absolutely must have done. Alright, so the next step you want to do is you're going to fill this almost completely full. You want there to still be some air left though. Roughly there-ish is good. And then close up your jar and make sure you seal it tightly. And then next part is you're going to shake it. And next few steps is that you're going to let that settle first for 1 minute, and once that happens we will mark that, and that'll be our sand layer. Okay, so after a minute you are going to take a look, and roughly where you see the soil has settled, roughly here, it's kind of hard to see probably from there, you're going to put a little mark. I put some tape on because it's sometimes hard to see marker on your jar, especially when it's full of dirt, like that, and that's going to be the first layer. Next you're going to wait for a whole 6 hours, I think, for the silt layer, and then 2 days for the clay layer. Alright everyone, so it's been a few months later. Don't leave your soil jar alone that long. You can take a look at it within 72 hours and see what we're going to be pointing out here. So you're going to need probably some better light, depending on how dark your soil is. But what you can do is you'll notice that there is a layer here that is, very large particles. That's their sand layer. So what you'll want to do is measure that, and then here you can kind of see the silt layer. It's going to be a little bit more finer particles, and it's going to have less like these little pockets that the sand layer seems to have. And then up here you can kind of see the clay layer. That one's going to be way more congealed together. And so what you'll do is measure the entire length of the soil. So let me grab a ruler here. Okay, so first of all, you want to measure how much soil you have in total. I'm lifting up the jar a little bit because, as you can see, the ruler does not have, doesn't just start measuring from the edge. It's a little bit further up. So I'm just holding it up so then I can see that it's roughly an inch, and that is 6/10. So, we know that. Then next thing you're going to do is for each of these horizons, like I have kind of here for on this jar, mark the different heights of each of the soil layers, like where they start, and you'll measure those as well. And based off of that, you will figure out the percentage using formula that we have on the worksheet on the sheet. You'll enter that into like a calculator or something, and that should give you an idea of your soil percentages. So next you're going to be taking a soil texture triangle to figure out your from your percentages what your soil texture is. So when you look at this, it kind of seems complicated on how to read it. But luckily with this one, you can see like kind of where the numbers are slanted. That's allowing you to follow for that percentage. So for our example, we have 46% sand, 38% silt, and 15% roughly. If we have 46% sand, so that would be roughly here on this chart, and we would go diagonally up this way, following that. So it's going to be somewhere here, right off the bat, and we know that. And silt is 38, so that means it's going to be roughly here. So we know if sand's going to be going up this way, so we know already that it's roughly going to be there and there for roughly in this area, because we can only have it be in this range for sand, and this range we cover because of our silt percentage. Now we know that our clay is roughly 15%, so that looks like it's going to be probably right here, really nicely in the loam section of the soil texture triangle. And that's actually really good soil. So why does it matter what your soil texture is? Well, for one thing, it really impacts how water behaves as it's going into your soil. If you have just a lot of really large sand particles, what's going to happen is the water is just going to flow straight through and not really get absorbed by your plants or like really stick around all that much. So it's going to be a much drier soil. It's going to have issues with having availability with I think some other micro or macronutrients as well. One of the other things is that if it's like a clay soil, all those little clay particles like to be so tightly put together that they don't let water really permeate through the soil either. And silt is a little bit of an in-between where it kind of lets it and kind of doesn't let it drain. So it's kind of an ideal situation, but too much of that can still have its own issues. So when they are all in like a perfect ratio to each other, they get a lot of the benefits that you get with all of them. Clay soils are also really good for handling like cation exchange capacity, which is a huge impact on its ability to handle like acidity changes and making the soil pH stable. So soil texture does have a lot of implications for gardening, agriculture, and also construction. If you've got a soil that's really prone to just draining water, that might not be as bad to build upon than, say, water that really likes holding on to soil that really likes to hold on to water. So yeah, it's a kind of an important factor to consider.